Hey guys, and welcome back to Daisy Travels. I'm so glad for all of you that are subscribed to be back here. And if you're not, please take the time and subscribe to my channel so that you can always get updates on our new videos. So here's the thing, I say our, but is my daughter ever really going to be a part of the talking part outside of the pictures? Probably not. So I guess it's still our adventure. So, yeah, our channel. Please be sure to subscribe. And if you enjoy anything that you see here, I would be so happy if you would like this video and share. So, today I'm going to be talking about a couple of things. And the first thing, as you probably saw from the title, is our visit to the dentist this week. So, Zamir and I went to have a cleaning done. And so that was something that I really wanted to do before we leave, whenever that may be. But I wanted to test it out, and people have been telling me how affordable it was. So I love my dental hygienist at home. Like, she is boss. But here in Vietnam, going to get my teeth cleaned, I'm gonna say it's the price for me. So Zamir and I got our teeth cleaned for a whopping $16 total. Two people. How is this possible? Mind blown. The things I love about Asia, Southeast Asia in particular. So that was like an amazing thing for me. And then I also got a backup retainer done because, like, at home I'm hearing that it's like $500 to get a retainer done. So I wanted to have a backup retainer since I was here, and I paid about $57 for my retainer. Now I have two. The other one is in Thailand, and as some of you may know, my belongings are still in Thailand because I only came to Vietnam on vacation. But such is life. It's 2020. This is just what happens in 2020. So yeah, so we spent a total of about $70 getting everything done. That's teeth cleaning for both Samira and I, and getting a backup retainer for myself. And so I was very, very happy about the visit to the dentist office. It was very clean. They were so professional. It was just an overall really nice experience for both Samir and I. Samir's like, this is our first dental visit. I'm like, no, it's not, but it's the first one she remembers, so I'll let her have that. You know, he was gentle enough and he did a great job. They took before and after pictures. I don't know if I want to show those, but let's just say yes, like I really liked seeing the up close teeth selfie thing and being able to see the before and after with the job that was done on our mouths. So we were just so happy yesterday, both of us. Like, Samir's like, oh, when I lick my teeth, they feel so good. And I mean, that's just a wonderful thing. Having your teeth cleaned is, I don't know, it's just a highlight for me, my twice a year highlight. And so I hadn't done one since I'd left home. So this has been a little more than a year. So this is probably the longest that I've gone in ages without getting my teeth cleaned. So I felt really good about getting that done yesterday. And I was so happy about it. And it was just a very up-to-date and modern, perfect kind of experience. Like, I had zero issues. They told me that I could come back and pick up my retainer the next day. I mean, how awesome is this? So, like, if you're even just traveling to Vietnam, I would say book an appointment and get your mouth done. Like, get some work done, get your teeth clean, get your bridges fixed, whatever it is that you may need to get done here, because it is truly affordable. And like, go on your first or second day, so if it's anything else, you'll still have time to come back or to pick up anything that you may need. I think that it would be a really great investment to do something like this, even if you're on vacation. Just schedule out one day to do stuff like this for yourself. Like, even going to the doctor. I recently had a visit and I did an annual physical, and I think I paid, oh, no, I don't think, I know. I paid $88. That included me getting an annual physical, which was inclusive of a pap smear and an ultrasound. I also got my very first mammogram, and I left with some vitamins and a couple of other things. So I got medication, vitamins, the doctor's visit, a mammogram, ultrasound, pap smear, $88. How do you beat this stuff? Like, so now when I leave by the end of this year, everything I would have, done all of my doctor checkups. I would have done everything with our teeth, and then the next thing that I want to do is getting our eyes done. And so once we've done that, then I guess I'll do an update and tell you how that experience went for us as well. But I am truly happy with the experience that I had at the dentist office, especially going to see the doctor for my annual physical. It wasn't bad at all, but it was definitely a different type of experience, and that's only because of culture. So once you are understanding that and accepting that the culture here is probably different than what you would experience in the West, I think you'll be fine with the service that you got. And I was absolutely fine. Like, I have zero complaints about it, and I would do it again if I had to. And I feel confident in the results. The doctor spoke to me in English. She was Vietnamese. She spoke to me in English, and everything was clear. It was understandable. There were no questions. The only things that left unsaid were things that I forgot, because I just forget things these days. So I gotta write everything down when I'm going to the doctor so that I don't forget. And there are a couple of things that I should have probably mentioned that I didn't, but the things that I went for specifically, I handled that on the day when I went in for my visit. And so that's the good thing. And that's what we're talking about. But mostly about the dentist experience. He was a European doctor. He wasn't Vietnamese, but he worked along with a Vietnamese lady, and even though they didn't speak the same language, they were able to communicate and just worked so smoothly in getting everything done that we needed yesterday with our mouths. So I can't give enough praises about my dentist experience yesterday at Serenity Dental. But yeah, there you go. All right, guys. So now we're going to move on to the next thing. So the next thing for me is that things I did not know about Vietnam before I got here. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I really didn't know. Initially, when I was looking at countries to move to, Vietnam was on that list of top 5, but I quickly crossed it off because I just didn't want to live in Vietnam. Vietnam just didn't sound like a place that I wanted to live in. I think that most people just relate Vietnam to the war, and so I was just like, yeah, no. I crossed it off the list. I'm like, I'm going to Thailand. So here's a couple of things that I didn't know before, and it could, persuade you in the right direction if you are looking for a move, or dissuade you, I guess. And there are definitely differences between Vietnam and Thailand. I really like it here. Not quite as much as Thailand, but I do like it here. Things that I don't like, and I think I've said this before, would be the food. And so I'm gonna start off with that because I am a very emotional eater, and not emotional that I eat because I'm feeling emotional because I love food and I love great food experiences. Like, it is just like the best thing for me. Like, when I'm eating food that's really good, my toes curl, I want to sing, like I'm quiet and I'm doing like that little dance that you do when you're eating food, and it's really good. So I have a really strong connection with food, and for me, so far, from the very first day that I got here, I have not had good Vietnamese food. I have had it speckled here and there once or twice now, and it hasn't really been anything fantastic. Like, I've had Vietnamese food in the States that was amazing, And maybe that's like Vietnamese fusion, but it kind of set me up. And so I wasn't prepared for the taste that I experienced once I got here. So that's one of the things for me with the Vietnamese experience. And I definitely hadn't researched it anymore because I just expected it to be good, and because of my previous experiences, and it just didn't do that for me. So I wish that I had known more about the actual cuisine so that I would be able to have been mentally prepared for it. My daughter still is not interested in eating Vietnamese food. Like, she was good in Thailand. She tried a lot of things in Thailand, and food is just really superb there. I should stop this comparison. That's not what I'm here for today. Vietnam, let's talk about the things that I wish that I had known, or things that I didn't know before I got here, rather. So I did not know that it would be so loud. And it is loud in more ways than one. It is loud when you are driving. So there are tons of motorbikes on the road. And I live in Da Nang, where I know that it's not as populated as it would be in Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi. And so I know that what I have is pretty mild in comparison, but it is always so loud. I think that it was one of the things that really got to me initially when I got here, because they're always blowing the horn. And I'm like, why are these people so rude? Like, why are they always blowing the horn? And then I realized that it's not because they're being rude. It's like a sonar. It's like, hey, I'm here. I just want you to know I'm to your left, I'm to your right, I'm behind you, I'm coming, across you. So they're just like blowing the horn all the time just to let you know where they are. And so that was something that I had to get adjusted to. And I thought that I wasn't going to end up riding a motorbike here. I didn't even think that I would be here that long, but so here I am riding a motorbike, and I'm now a horn blower. And so I'm always beeping the horn on my bike as I drive through, because this is just the way that it happens. Like, no one stops. Like, you get to a corner and nobody stops. You just keep on going. Like, you get to the end of the street and you just keep on going. Like, they don't look left and right and all this stuff that we be doing. They just drive, and the other person just kind of knows. Like, I compare this type of driving to like ants. Like, sometimes you see all these ants just going and they're moving and weaving. Like, they have perfected the art of driving, and I guess I'm now a part of the they. I don't know if I could do this in a bigger city, but I feel pretty confident I would sure try. I don't feel doubtful that I wouldn't be able to drive anywhere now. Like, I think that driving in these has made me a professional driver, and I've always thought that I was a pretty darn good driver. Think I'm better now. So that was one thing. And it's also loud because this country seems to always have something going on. There's always something being built. There's always something being repaired. And I guess that's a good thing, right? Like, I moved into this place a few months back, and they broke it down, and I drove by the other day, and it's like a 9-story building is sitting in the spot. Like, how do you do this? Like, they broke the building down piece by piece in the middle of like other structures. Like, it was like just in a slot, and now there's like a new building there. And everywhere you go around the city, you're just seeing tons of construction, so that makes it really noisy. So finding some place to live that doesn't have construction going on could be kind of difficult. So I had moved all the way out, like near the mountains, and into a very local neighborhood and away from the touristy areas where there are hotels and all these things. So I guess it's not so loud here. I've seen them doing road works in my area, and that can produce some noise, but definitely not the same type of noise from actual construction. And I guess them doing roadworks is a great thing, because it's what you got to do. They're digging or fixing pipes or something underground. I have no idea, and I'm not asking. So the point is, it's advancement, and I think that's good for any country. So because of these things, the country can be a bit loud. So there's the noise from the car, and there's the noise from constant construction, and then there's karaoke, the thing that Vietnamese people love the most. Oh my God, I've never seen so many karaoke bars in anywhere, first of all. And it's like, I will go for a walk in my neighborhood, and every street that I pass, like there's a family outside with a karaoke machine. Like nothing could have prepared me for the intensity level of karaoke that goes down in Vietnam. Like they're about their karaoke. But so it can be noisy. But the good part about it is they don't go late. I think by 10 o'clock, like all of the noisy stuff would shut down. Like this isn't a really late kind of place. I think these people go to bed really early, and so that's a good thing. So you don't have to be worrying that, oh, I'm going to be tired, it's 11:30, 12 o'clock and I can't fall asleep because the karaoke is so loud. They're usually done by about 10. Some people earlier, but the latest I would say would be 10. I've never heard anything, especially in this area, past 10. Possibly like in the city and the touristy areas, yeah, but definitely not. No, it's not loud here after 10 o'clock. So the loud, I could not be prepared for the loud. Another thing I could not be prepared for was the things that people carry on their motorbikes. Like it is mind-blowing. Like I was driving the other day, and I wish that I was fast enough to pull over, stop. This man drove by with a washing machine and a refrigerator on the back of his motorbike. I have seen some things. I have seen people carry like 50-inch TVs, like holding it. I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, how are you riding a motorbike and holding a TV whilst you're driving? How are you riding a motorbike? Like stacks of things. Like the person that delivers my water, like we get the 5-gallon or 20-liter bottles, and they come with like 8 or 9 bottles on a motorbike. I'm always just taken aback. Like I'm just happy to be skilled enough to get my groceries home. Like that's my biggest thing. And then recently I had to pick up a piece of luggage that was empty, and so I just drove really slowly because I didn't want it to fly because it's empty. And these are my biggest things that I've carried, and I'm like, I should probably get a cab to do this, but I'm like, no, I see them do it all the time. Why can't I do it? It is amazing. Like nothing could have prepared me. Like you see these pictures floating around the internet all the time, and you're like, yeah, that's not real, that's Photoshop. But to actually see this stuff, oh my gosh, I love it. I don't know, I love it. That and watching the ladies sit side saddle, like it's just my favorite thing with the motorbikes. Like, how are you guys doing this? This is Asia. You do what you gotta do, right? Like, I don't know if that would work in my neck of the woods. So another thing, I think that you will change your mind on certain things once you come to Southeast Asia, like things that you were hard no on, you may kind of be a soft yes on by the end of spending a few months here. Things like eating street food, because you see certain things like the sanitation is not the same as home. I don't know the type of requirements that they have here, but I can definitely look and see because I've done enough of this training with food safety and food handling. But oh my gosh, sometimes the street food is actually good, and so you roll with that, and then you just watch them. Like I remember I went like in the first month that I was in Vietnam, I wanted a banh mi. And so a banh mi is like a sandwich. It's a really small French baguette, and they put stuff in it. I don't know what the things are. I just ask for it and eat it. I don't have restrictions on things I eat, so that's not a big qualm for me. So this lady like she picks up, let's see, she picks up the bread. Let's say this is the bread. She picks up the bread and someone pays her the money and she rests the bread on top of the money. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, okay, I do not want this anymore. And I remember walking away. And then you see this stuff all the time. I remember I was sitting down with a group of friends. We were at lunch and they're like, listen, you will see things in your food in Vietnam and you're just going to push it to the side and keep on eating because that's just the way it is. Like, I never thought that. Oh my God. I never, ever, ever, ever thought that that would be me, but it has kind of happened. Like, I have seen things and seen it like I didn't see it. I think that my stomach is officially made of iron. That's what I think. I'm gonna move on because that one is just wild. I don't know. So another thing that I wasn't prepared for is, like, if you go in your purse, like, so I use a fanny pack most times because I'm on the bike, I don't want to have a purse, all that stuff, and it's easy for me to access, like, especially if I go to the market or whatever. They will look in your purse, like, at your money. So, like, I try to just section my money out so that I can, when I go to the market, I make a budget for myself. So I put that money in a specific spot. I'm like, this is what I'm spending. I'm not going over that budget. They will look in your purse. So you're trying to get your food, your produce and whatever, and they will look in your purse. They'd be like, no, that one. And they're telling you what they want out of your purse. And that was just like really weird and uncomfortable for me. Another thing that I've gotten used to. Yeah, I think it's about boundaries. Boundaries are really different here. And then another thing that I was not prepared for was, I don't like the whole negotiating thing. Like, I go to a place, you say this is your price, then that's the price that I pay. But I've learned that here you have to shop around. You have to tell them no, walk away, come back, see other items, because they give you the highest price. And then because you're a foreigner, and obviously they can tell that you're a foreigner, they're going to try and give you the foreigner rate. Now, some places you'd be like, okay, I'll pay the foreigner rate. But why? Why would I? I've been here all this time. Like, I know what the prices are. I essentially buy the same groceries every week. You know, you eat in a habitual way, so you buy basically the same stuff. I know how much I spend. I know what I'm planning to spend, and I don't want to go over my budget. I love when I save. But I don't like the haggling part of it. I don't like feeling like I'm asking someone to go lower than they want. But I've learned that they start sometimes at really, really ridiculous rates. Like, I went to Hoi An, and I don't really like Hoi An. And I know that a lot of people like it there, but I don't like it there because I always felt bombarded. I always felt like someone was there trying to get me to buy something. Like, every 5 steps I took, someone was, you know, miss, buy this. And first of all, I'm not shopping for all of these things. And second of all, like, I'm not going to buy the most expensive thing. Of course, I'm going to shop around for the best deal. And I remember when we got there one day, this guy, he wanted to sell us, he had this thing with sunglasses, so he wanted to sell us some sunglasses, and we were like, how much? And so he told us the price, and we were like, oh no, that's too much. And so he was like, okay, how much you want to pay? And so I said, no, I don't need. And I continued walking, and he followed me for about maybe 10 minutes walking. And then finally he left. 2 or 3 hours later, this same dude spots us and comes riding down the street again, trying to sell his wares to us. And, you know, some days, like, I felt so bad because I'm like, oh, this was initially during the pandemic. And I'm like, you know, I know things are rough, people are trying to make money or whatever, and you have all these feelings about it. But at the same time, you have to be conservative of your own funds, because literally you don't know what's happening. And it really got crazy. Well, for me, it sure did. Not for the others. Americans got that unemployment. We ain't got none of that coming from the Bahamas. I wish. But yeah, it's just too much for me, but I've learned how to do it, and I try not to actually like back and forth with that person. I would just go somewhere else until I hear a price that sounds more reasonable for me, because I feel bad telling people the price I want to pay. And maybe I shouldn't feel bad about it. I guess you had to do that a little in Thailand, but it's not as intense there. And for me, as a person that's always worked for myself, I've had to give prices to people. And I really, really, really hate when people try to like get my price down. Like, I gave you the price that it is. I'm not telling you this price because I want to negotiate. I'm telling you this price because this is what it is. But that's just not the way that it works here. They start really, really high. So they would start with a price. For instance, this guy was telling us that the price for the sunglasses was 250. So you don't have to know what 250K is equal to, but I'll probably put it there. So he says 250K. And so I'm like, oh no, I seen these same glasses for like 50K. Like, what are you talking about? So you say, okay, 200. No, you don't want to pay 200, 175, and like you, but still trying to stay on the high end because he's trying to make as close to that 250K as possible. But I mean, if you've seen the same things, like, and he's like Gucci, Ray-Bans, and I'm like, yeah, fake. Like, I'm not paying 250 for these fake designer glasses that I see in other stores for 50 to 75K. And so it's just a no for me, and I'm not going to be forced into it. And I was talking to a friend, and she was like, you know, here you are and it's raining and these people are sitting there trying to sell you sunglasses. They will try to sell you sunglasses in the rain. Like, I wear glasses regularly. Like, I would be out in glasses. They're still trying to sell me sunglasses. I'm like, okay, like, how does this look? But anyway, that's a different story. So these are just a few of the things that that I was not ready for when I got here. And I don't hate these things. Like, it, for me, it enhances the experience. Like, I feel so much more, I don't know what the word is, something, by being in the midst of all of this, you know. But it's been a great experience for me. My daughter, she's not so crazy about Vietnam because she has different types of issues here and being a kid. And also, there are not that many kids here for her to talk with that speak English, that we could get with that are in her age bracket. Like, it's been really difficult with finding kids both here and in Thailand. And that's definitely a part of the reason why we're moving to a new city soon. But yeah, I have loved and hated these things about Vietnam. I don't know. I can't, at the end of the day, for the things that I don't like, the things that I do like have definitely made up for it. And one of the things that I appreciate the most about being in Vietnam was that I feel as though I've been kept safe during this pandemic. I just love the way that they handled things. And so for me, it's the best. Of all of the crazy things that I've experienced, of all of the food and the noise and the everything else, at the end of the day, I felt like we were safe. I felt like we were in a place that was comfortable. I had my own space. It was affordable, and I didn't feel as though I would walk outside and get COVID-19. So for those reasons, I am super grateful to Vietnam. Let me just make sure and say that, because I am not hating on it at all. It's just, we all have our preferences. I know that there are going to be people that say, oh, I love Vietnamese food in Vietnam. And that's fine. It's just not for me. And so I'm just happy for the overall experience. I'm happy for everything that I did, happy for everything that I've learned. Like, living here is pretty interesting, and you get to meet some really interesting folks from all around the world. Like, my building where I live feels like the UN sometimes. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you coming back. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, and please be sure to like my video. And I hope you enjoyed everything that I talked about, and I hope that it's helpful for you or possibly someone that you know that may be considering moving to Vietnam. And just know that these are things to consider, and sometimes you just don't think about certain things, and then there's just stuff that you're not going to think about until you're in a particular situation. And I guess these things for me are, they're that. I wouldn't have asked people questions about these things. It's just stuff that you have to experience, and experience is definitely the best teacher. I love it here. Good morning, Vietnam. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.